Hey guys, welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andre Seegers, and this time we're joined by Derek Bittner, Tom Arnold, and Josh Thomas in the BitBlock to discuss our impressions of the Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes. So let's get started. Alright guys, so one of the surprise games from E3 was Nintendo's announcement of a new Zelda game in the vein of Four Swords, only with one less player, and it's called Triforce Heroes. I only got to play one dungeon, unfortunately, but I think most of you, I'll go try a little bit more than that. So, yeah, let's get out there. What did you guys think of this game?
It's amazing. We needed another Four Swords Adventures. We're getting it. Looks great. Plays amazing. I want it so bad.
Wow, discussion over. That wraps it
up.
There you go. Pretty much. I love it. I think I actually like it more than Four Swords. I like the teamwork mechanic. I think it all works. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I just want to play more of it, really.
Yeah, it's definitely really a good idea to have just a team of 3, but I wonder too if there'll be any competition for collecting rupees like there were in Four Swords, because it does seem primarily just all teamwork based.
First off, I'm going to say I love the title of the game. Triforce Heroes, that's brilliant. Love it, that's great. But I'm not a huge fan of the totem mechanic. So the main hook of this game now is, you know, you can stack up each other, you can pick up your teammates, and you can form a totem, allowing you to reach higher areas. My issue with that is, especially in the dungeon I played, where I think we had to use it pretty often, it really restricts your movement, and I hate that. I like having full agency over my controls, over where I'm going. I like being in control. And here, like when I was picked up, like you can't do anything but aim and like use your sword.
You can't jump off.
You can't even jump off, right? Like I was trying to communicate with my teammate, I wanted him to throw me. And he wasn't doing it. I was just stuck up there, being held helpless, while we're being killed down below, basically. So that's my biggest issue with the game, is the core mechanic of the game I'm just not a fan of.
Well, it should be pointed out, and this is something I learned with it being my first E3, like 90% of the people there don't seem to know how to play video games. Like, I don't get it.
Very true.
That's true.
So if you were playing with people that were smart, you might not have that difficulty.
That's what I found. Like, you know, if you had any type of people that could communicate and play games well and figure out the mechanics, you're going to have a good time. You know, because you're just working together, you're figuring out what you need to do. Okay, I have the bombs, I need to do this. This person has the gust bellows, you do this. It's this great mechanic where you're all just dividing and conquering and then coming together in order to figure things out. And as long as you have anybody competent with you, it's a lot of fun. If you don't have anybody competent with you, well, you're going to be there for 20 minutes as that one person tries to figure out what the hell they should actually do.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the stakes are higher too, because you need 2 competent people for you to beat any boss, because the 3rd stage always requires a triple totem.
Actually, that's not true. The fortress level is the... I saw a lot of complaints, people saying like they're over-reliant on the totem mechanic. They're using it way too much, it's just not going to be interesting at all. And the fortress level actually had very little of the totem mechanic. It's actually very interesting where you're placing bombs for the gust bellow persons to launch them into enemies. And it was a very different kind of teamwork mentality that I really enjoyed. And I like the fact that they're going to be switching things up throughout the game.
Yeah, there's actually there was like maybe a few levels where the totem thing wasn't used very much. I actually played every level in the demo with 2 other people that I knew, like that I was at E3 with, so we like worked together very well. So yeah, I don't know if there were. Yeah, I think there were like at least 3 levels where the totem thing was just kind of there, but not a main focus.
Yeah, I mean that's good for me. That I'm not a huge fan of the mechanic. So if it's downplayed in other temples, maybe I'll like the game more. I as is though, I think I prefer the more lone wolf nature of Four Swords, where I mean you would still work together, but you had full control over yourself at all times. And I kind of liked. I felt like I basically felt like I was moving too much on lockstep, almost literally in this case, with my teammates, whereas I didn't get like a great sense of exploration in this game, which is my favorite thing about Zeldas in general. I wasn't feeling it in this game, especially with the fact that we chose our weapon. In my case, at least, I don't know if it was different for other levels. At the very start of the temple, you can choose your secondary weapon, like, if it's a boomer, or I think a bow and arrow, or bombs, in my case. And I was stuck with it. Whereas I wish I had chosen the other item based on how my teammates were doing. Like, I'm like, oh, I wish I'd chosen bombs instead, but that'd be way more useful right now.
I really think, I know you're much more of an exploration guy, Andre, but I do think if you had a better team, you probably would have enjoyed it a lot more.
Yeah.
I would probably enjoy it more. I don't know if it'd be a lot more. Like, I'm just not a fan of that totem thing. Like, it does nothing for me.
You're gonna like the totem thing, or else, Andre. All right.
We're gonna pick you up, remove all agency, and make you make you like it.
Yeah, Andre, your reasoning just doesn't stack up.
All right, fine. I did like the communication you can do though, which is
with the icons.
Online.
Yeah,
which is
the
really
cheer.
useful.
Oh my god, I love
this game
the
actually
cheer.
has online. Yeah, the cheer is great, right? Or even how I think when we approached a boss, like everyone is sending out like the no message or like the scared message, whatever it was. It was kind of cute.
I do like how you can tap the icons more and they'll gradually get bigger.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Hey, other teammates, you should be paying attention to this. I need your help right now.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
So, do you guys think it's going to be simply a temple by temple thing, or do you think they'll do, or do you think they might do, a more full adventure like Four Swords Adventures did on the GameCube, where you were exploring different environments, like you had forests and whatnot?
Yeah.
I can't remember, Derek. You played that game recently. Were there like towns and anything in that game?
Oh yeah, it was strange how you actually had towns and still had stuff to figure out within them. They had a light dark world mechanic. It was Four Swords Adventures was really strange in the fact that it was just sort of an amalgamation of everything Zelda. And I have a feeling it's going to be very similar to that, where it's still going to be level by level, but okay, here's an exploration bit to get to the temple, and now here's the temple that you actually complete, and that sort of thing, and just getting people. I do think it's going to open up, but it makes sense to have people funneled for something like E3.
So, I think if they do it that way, like if it's a little bit more open on your way to the temple, I'd be cool with that, I think. Whereas the temple forces you to work, together more often, perhaps, for the puzzles, which makes sense.
There actually is an overworld. In the developer interview in the digital event, Mr. Newman was talking about the basic plot of the game, and it's that it takes place in this world where everybody's very fashion savvy, and they showed us the overworld, little bits of shops.
Oh, I missed that. Okay.
Yeah. So it does seem like there is a world that ties everything together. Yeah.
Well, that's good. So yeah.
I guess speaking of fashion, they did have 6 different costumes you could choose in the demo, and each one gave you different attributes.
Which is very cool.
More bombs, or being able to shoot 3 arrows at once instead of just one. So there is some strategy to picking a good costume for a stage.
I wonder how that will work. Do you think you'll buy them in the final game, or do you
probably, since you can gather rupees, and I think the rupees were shared. I'm not positive on that, and I never took a close look because I never really cared about the rupees in terms of the demo. It just wasn't a big deal because I wanted to get to the end. I think you might be able to share, and maybe you just get a little stipend, and you get to choose which outfit you get. I'm not sure how exactly that's going to work. If I had to guess, though, it's probably everybody gets their own rupees. Since if you play online, obviously you're not going to be all sharing the same set of outfits. So the more you're playing, the more rupees you get, the more outfits you collect. You can basically have your own setup for when you are playing online.
So you just reminded me of something else I don't like about that game, and that's the shared health.
Way to go, Derek.
I like the shared health.
It punishes the entire team for one person being bad.
Yeah. That's
I don't like that.
That's teamwork.
Yeah,
that's teamwork. You can have that element without it just destroying your team. Being down a player is bad enough. Having to take down the entire team is silly.
No, because then how would you resurrect them?
They can have a time-based mechanic where they come back after a minute or something. You get to survive until that point.
But what if it's a boss battle that requires all 3 of you to totem on each other?
That's what I mean. So you just have to wait out at a time. Then the player's resurrected.
And then you're just bored as the rest of the team.
Yeah.
So that's your punishment for sucking.
No, that's the rest of the team getting punished for the third person sucking.
How?
Because let's say you're in the final level where you have to totem up 3 stacks. Yeah. That means that you need that third person, and you're stuck dodging for a minute, waiting for him to resurrect. I don't think
it's much worse than restarting the boss fight every time because the player kept getting killed.
No, because then you're still playing together, working together, figuring out strategies, and each time you play against that boss, you're figuring out what you need to do.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I will fight you on this.
That's fine. I mean, there's different ways they could go about it. I'm just not a fan of the shared health mechanic at all.
Okay, how about the guy falls down face first, dead. One teammate has to go to the guy and press A to use a defibrillator or something.
Actually, well, right. Actually, tons of games have done that, and that'll make a ton of sense, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, what if you actually had to pick him up and drag him to a restoration area or something? Like a ferry fountain that's nearby.
That one makes more sense. I can see that working a bit better, but yeah.
Is there, I don't know what to call it, but is there, like, friendly fire on in this game? Like, if you hit your other teammate, did they take damage?
It doesn't seem so.
Okay, good, because I was gonna side with Andre there if it was like, oh, you share the same health, and you can't hit each other because it takes away your health, because one of the best things about Four Swords Adventures is messing with the other players and, like, trying to get the rupees out of them.
Oh, well, I think, actually, now that you mention it, well, you can throw people off ledges, of course, still. And I think that does deal damage to the entire team, then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Now I've got to rethink my strategy.
So yeah, there is that there, Josh. So
I don't know what to think now. I don't want to side with Andre, but I want to be able to mess with people.
I agree. That was actually one of my favorite parts too, right? Like just stealing their rupees.
Yeah.
I guess that might be part of it too. Is there is no. So I like Four Swords because it was a cooperative, like competitive game. Like it was overall cooperative, but there's still that competitive element to it. And you don't have, as far as I can tell, maybe it's just a demo. There seems to be no competitive element to this game at all.
Well, they did mention that the premise of this game is that you're competing to see who can be the most fashionable. So I don't know what that means, but I know I'm going to win. So
yeah, that's true. Oh man, that's not even fair then.
Oh, it's like the Henry Hatsworth sequel I always wanted, where you're trying to find the golden suit.
I don't mind not having that competitive edge in the game, because to me the competitive part of Four Swords was so surface level. Like, you got nothing for being the top player in a level and getting all the Force Gems. It meant there was literally no point to it.
You got confetti.
Other than just
you beat your friends.
Yeah, you got confetti pouring down on you. You're the highest one on the podium.
And I don't care.
Why?
But that's like every multiplayer game, Derek.
True, which explains why I don't like multiplayer games.
Wow.
Yeah, I love multiplayer games. Like, I'm super competitive, so...
Do you guys think this game will have, like, a battle mode? Because for me, that's, like, one of the best parts about Four Swords Adventures as well, how you can go into
I think I heard something about that. I think there might be.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I think this definitely needs that, otherwise I'll be a little disappointed. Or just, like, a battle arena, like they had, like, the stages in the original one. Then again, Nintendo doesn't make battle modes anymore, so I guess that's a little bit too much to ask for.
That's only Mario Kart.
Yeah. So, I do wonder, are they going to like, is 3 players required at all times for this game? It seems like it would be,
yes.
right?
Yeah, you get little doll characters that follow you.
Yeah.
They've got weird, scary masks.
It's interesting. It's either a 1-player game or a 3-player game. 2-player games are not possible.
Oh, interesting.
So what was this doll character, though, you were talking about, Josh?
Yeah, they showed it in the digital event, how, like, if you're not playing with other players, they're replaced with little weird doll-like links that have creepy faces on them.
So that's a little bit like in Four Swords, right?
I believe
how
so,
you would have,
yeah.
Multiple links next to you if you didn't have 4 players.
Yeah, I think that's how it works.
Interesting. So what was your, what do you guys think of the boss fights in this demo? Because I think there were 4 of them, right? 1 for each temple, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they were the highlight, honestly. I liked how you all worked together, had to figure out exactly what you needed to do. They all felt, at least the 2 I played, felt completely different. One was sending bombs back at the Cyclopses as they switched between doors, and the other one was Moldorm, which, he would chase, his eyes would glow a certain color and chase after that player, so the other players had to hit him in the tail as he chased the other player, and then eventually he would keep raising the tail, so you'd have to stack up, and it'd make it more difficult, because now you have less people to distract them or to help get that person, get that hit. I thought it was really clever and really enjoyed it.
Now, during that Cyclops boss fight with the bomb, so that was when you and Tom were playing, right?
Me and Ash, actually.
Oh, you and Ash, right. You guys were there forever, though. That was like a long boss fight.
Yes, it did take forever just to figure things out, because we got that last guy, because we had it pretty efficient in the beginning, where we were able to just they were able to use the gust bellows to send the bombs back at the smaller Cyclopses. But once the bigger one came out and started blowing the big one out, they couldn't figure out a way to get the gust bellows to effectively send it back at him, which is what we thought we had to do. Turns out I had to use my bombs in order to just set him down and hit him at the right place, but then he would keep switching things up where he'd open multiple windows and only be behind one. So you sort of had to get this guesswork and a lot of communication and working together. Eventually got it, but it did have that whole we need to figure out what to do for this. It wasn't as simple as like, okay, I immediately know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I felt the bosses had a really good 3-stage progression, and definitely pretty rewarding beating them after, and like really emphasized the teamwork from what I saw. And I think Moldor and the first boss, that gooey guy with the little orb in his head. So overall, I like them a lot.
Yeah, they're really smart, and they make you use teamwork. So I think, yeah, really well designed.
All right. You guys have any final thoughts at all about the game before we wrap it up here?
Game of the show.
Wow. All right. Dang.
For me, that one from what I played.
I'd agree with that. I think that it probably was my favorite game that I played, at least in Nintendo's booth. I still need to think about Game of Show, but I think that's pretty much Game of Show.
Yeah, Nintendo's booth, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been waiting for a sequel to Four Swords, and I didn't think we'd ever get it. And this pretty much is that, I think, minus a sword. And yeah, it looks nice and plays really fun. I cannot wait to have the final game.
Wow, alright. So, I mean, I hope I like it too, but I'm not a fan of the core gameplay yet, so we'll see though. I do like Four Swords, so the potential is there. Alright, well I think that about wraps up for us here, so thanks guys for watching. If you liked our discussion, make sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain, which you can find links to in the description below. It's a good way to keep up to date on everything we post. And Josh, do you want to let everyone know where they can find you at?
Sure, they can find me at the BitBlock on pretty much anything on this here internet.
Including GameXplain.
GameXplain.
Alright, and of course keep an eye on GameXplain.com for more from E3 and other things gaming as well. Alright, thanks guys. Bye.